Greetings and salutations. My name is Michael Schwahn, and today we are checking out Star Trek Resurgence. Now, as a heads up, there's not actually a whole lot of trailers for this game available, and so a lot of what we're going to be checking out is like that weird like IGN first coverage and stuff. IGN often gets to take a look at games that a lot of people don't, and that's fine, but I'm not always real big on the way that they do like their IGN first coverage and the blocks and stuff like that. It can sometimes just, it just doesn't always flow or present very well, and sometimes they get really talky and then the game gets drowned out in the background, and yeah, anyway. So we're going to start with the official reveal trailer because that's all we really got, and we'll go from there.
I enlisted because I didn't want to wait years just to get out and see the galaxy. I wanted to go somewhere, see new worlds, look up at a sky no one's ever seen before.
It's been a dream of mine since before I can remember. So I would be honored to become a captain someday. We need to learn everything we can.
You're not gonna die. Not if I have anything to say about it.
This can't be right.
Okay.
Time to impact 1 minute. Jara, I need you to do the right thing.
Oh.
The fate of the negotiations, the interests of the Federation, and the prospect for peace may very well depend on it.
What's up, Leonard Nimoy? How are you, buddy? Yeah, Telltale style. I didn't know that that's what we were getting, but, you know, that's fine. Okay, so now we're going to be jumping into some of the IGN stuff. We got 3 pieces here. It's funny because there's one that's called the first preview, and it came out after 2 other previews came out. So we'll start with 4 minutes of gameplay. Hopefully that'll give us a better look at things.
Thing was totally fried.
Is that not a safety concern to be riding up on top of these things like that? Like, I feel like that would just never pass most safety inspections.
The boss wants us down in engineering, like now.
Like that other dude that was on that lift, like he's like leaning over and looking off the side while he's being raised up. Like, I don't know, maybe because the meds are better in Star Trek, there's less concern. I was like, oh, well, if you fall and break your neck, we'll just fix your neck. It's no big deal.
Come on.
I'm overthinking this. I'm sorry. I appreciate whoever this is that's playing this because instead of going to the objective, they just fucking wandered off. We're wanted down in engineering, like, now. Let's go. All right, I'm going to go look out the space window. You know, it's like me playing games. Yeah, exactly. You're like, yeah, all right, that's cool. Is there a timer on the screen? Unless you put a countdown timer on the screen, I'm not going to have enough anxiety to, like, feel like I have to go there right now.
Engineering.
I heard the new Ecto just arrived. Won't be long before we get underway. I just hope whatever Chovok called us down for, it's something good.
In progress footage. I certainly hope so, because my boy is blurry.
Manifolds. Hanging upside down makes me queasy.
What's the matter, Nilly? Afraid of a little hard work?
A little hard work? Really? A little?
Our
6
frame
months
rate's
of
also
putting a
very
show together is
painful.
A lot of hard work.
Yeah, and here we are. Just about ready to go.
Like, I'm not even upset about the art direction. I'm mostly concerned about how everyone is blurry and we're rocking like 21 FPS.
We were just looking for you, Commander.
Petty Officers Ed Solar, Diaz. I was beginning to think you would be late. We are all hands on deck right now, which means if you are not at your post at the appointed time, I do not have someone to replace you. A point I have been forced to make to Petty Officer Edsolar on repeated occasions.
So we're irreplaceable. Please choose that one. No!
Chauvac, isn't it true that if we were almost late, it categorically means that we were not late?
That is correct, Mr. Diaz.
I mean, if anything, Edsolar and I are following the schedule to the letter.
Yes, perhaps I should adjust the schedule accordingly.
So, I don't suppose you wanted us down here to check in before we go off duty?
Equip yourselves in EV suits to
Bro, the dude who dropped that off was operating at 7 FPS.
The subspace distortions and ionic interference we are experiencing are preventing the proper calibration, but this ship must be ready to depart shortly, despite the storm. The precise nature of these disturbances are not fully understood, but many systems have been affected by the wide band of emissive activity.
How concerned should we be about the storm? Are you worried?
Vulcans do not worry. We calculate the variables and take appropriate precautions to mitigate the risk. Right now, that entails making critical preparations, because long-range sensors show that these disturbances will be more severe at our destination.
Do Vulcans just hate working with non-Vulcans because it's like, ah, yes, I've calculated the risk. Unfortunately, that calculation is not accurate due to you being like a variable that I can't account for. Anyway, okay, so we have the first preview and then Spock's briefing gameplay. We'll check out Spock.
Ambassador Spock, my senior staff.
They consider humans to be too unpredictable and emotional. Makes sense. I mean, that's exactly what we are.
It's not every day that a captain gets to welcome a Starfleet legend aboard.
You flatter me, Captain Solano. But legend implies the past tense, whereas I am very much focused on our present circumstances.
So you may call me hero.
Didn't mean to suggest you were stuck in the past.
Everybody eat your shoes.
Your experience comes from the past, but our present situation calls for it.
True enough.
We were hoping you could fill us in on the details. We got the basics from Starfleet. Two formerly peaceful neighbors are now on the brink of war.
Indeed, and the tension between them grows fiercer by the hour.
Shit's cool.
Ilidia and Hotari. The Ilidians are the more advanced species. They made first contact with the Hotari over a century ago. This is Tau, the Hotari moon. It is rich in dilithium, and for decades, the Hotari and the Ilidians have shared a mining operation there. The Ilidians provide the technological resources, while the Hotari have served as the labor force. The stability of that arrangement was the source of their peace, until recently. The Hotari have suddenly and forcefully seized control of the mining operations and expelled the Ilidians from their system.
Seize the means of production.
That is the official story, as told by the Hotari when they requested Federation mediation. But the details remain scant. Communications between all parties have been limited by the ionic interference.
What are the Hotari defensive capabilities? Do they stand a chance to hold on to the mines now that they've taken them?
It is unlikely.
This footage is all a
relatively
year old,
primitive
by the way.
Hotari forces
That's just a
will
heads up.
prevail against the Ilidian fleet in open war. But it would have been equally unlikely to predict they could take possession of the mines until they did just that, which leaves many unanswered questions. Left unchecked, this conflict will result in more bloodshed, which is what we are here to prevent.
Hopefully much farther along now. Yeah, I hope so. I tried to find footage because all the footage I found was old as hell.
Exploited in this relationship.
Maybe we can persuade them peace is the more profitable alternative for everyone. They both profited from the mines. And for the Hotari, something is better than nothing. Peace is our objective, after all.
We can call it profitable or mutually beneficial, but at the end of the day, the Hotari are still being exploited for their own resources.
True peace is not merely the absence of war. And as such, this conflict will surely come again.
Neither the Ilidians or the Hotari are members of the Federation, so we can't make them do anything.
There is an additional complicating factor I should mention. In the past, the Federation has relied on the Illydians as a source of dilithium.
That certainly changes things.
Federation sources its dilithium from a lot of places.
Yeah, and this is one of them.
That means the Hotari have no reason to trust us.
I wouldn't go that far, Commander.
We are completely neutral in this matter, on neither one side nor the other. Any suggestion otherwise would compromise our position.
Neutral, sure.
Given the Federation's involvement in the Illydium dilithium trade, Captain Solano and I must make every effort to appear neutral in these negotiations.
What worries me is if this whole thing unravels and we're at the mercy of the storm at less than full strength.
We can't let it come to that.
Considering what the Ion Storm has done to our ship and the Ambassador's shuttle, we have to assume the Illydian fleet has had problems with it as well. This recent surge in the energy disturbance temporarily levels the playing field.
Commander Westbrook is correct. The energy anomalies around the Hotari systems have been noted in the past. But
yeah,
they have never been
all of this
observed
looks
on the
really
orders of
good. It's got really good
magnitude
voice
seen in
acting.
recent weeks.
The art direction is obviously very heavily taken from, you know, like they're just lifting Star Trek, which is perfectly fine. It looks great. It's very good representation of it. The only thing is that the quality level in terms of just like textures loading, depth of field, frame rate, it's all really, really bad in this preview.
So I trust we understand our circumstances.
We're operating on a strict timetable here, and we're going to be leaving for the
The
negotiations.
lighting's a little weird.
Commander Westbrook, I want you to leverage our systems to investigate the anomaly from here while we're gone.
Aye, Captain.
Thank you all.
Dismissed.
I want to speak to both of you privately.
Private conversation with Spock. Okay, that just keeps going. I don't think we actually need to watch more. Yeah, the latest footage is from March 30th of 2022. That's the first preview from IGN. This game supposedly is supposed to be releasing on May 23rd of this year. And that's the newest we got. There's so little. There might be something else that releases between when we recorded this video and like when it comes out. And I would assume that we'll probably at least get a launch trailer. There hasn't been a release date trailer yet, so what I understand, all that is finishing touches, so it's understandable. Yeah, a lot of that optimization stuff happens at the end. Most optimization in video games happens at the ending. And that's why if games are rushed or pushed out the door too soon, they end up normally suffering performance-wise. But the problem there also becomes, though, is that like that's not the issue. The issue is that this looks really rough. And I understand that this footage is a year old, but it's like, why haven't you shown anything else? That's the concern, right? Is that there just hasn't been anything else for this game. And that is concerning almost, because you feel like, especially when the game is like basically like we'll say like a week away, I feel like we should have been seeing some more. I feel like we should have seen some more of it by now, but alas, here we are. I mean, it could be that I just missed it somewhere along the way, but I don't know. That said, it looks like, in terms of like what they're going for, I'm on board for it. It looks pretty nice. You know, it's Star Trek. But I mean, I think that's honestly like a good thing to say. Be like, yeah, it just looks like Star Trek. That's a great, in my opinion, compliment to give somebody who's trying to make a Star Trek game. So, not saying it is worrisome, but I have faith in Telltale. Well, I mean, Telltale is, it's not, I'm not sure where this falls into all of that, because the developer is Dramatic Labs, who I think are made up of some of the former Telltale employees. Because if there was all of that drama with Telltale and like they got absorbed and broken and reestablished and all that stuff, so I'm not sure who all from the previous Telltale games is actually involved with this one, because that's always up in the air now. Because the Telltale games that made those games that we saw at the beginning of the trailer, that company doesn't technically exist in that same way anymore. So who knows? I mean, and you can technically get away with having one person that worked on those games and say like, oh, from the people that brought you gobbledygook and doopadoo. Like, you know, Yeah, so there's a lot of questions to be had there. But in general, Star Trek Resurgence looks pretty solid. I have confidence that the game will look better and run better by the time it does release, because that footage was all pretty damn old. But yeah, looks pretty solid. Let me know what your thoughts are. Put them down in the comments below. If you can't tell, I like to talk, and I'd love to talk some more. Two great places that we can talk is Discord and Twitter. I'm very active on both those platforms. We've been having a conversation here with chat because this video was recorded live on stream, because we do stream on Twitch, and I would love to see you there. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like. If you want to catch future videos, please subscribe to the channel. If you watch one of the other videos on the channel, or if I see you in the live stream, thank you and enjoy.